Hello, welcome to Valley Talks. My name is Sylvia Gorajek, and today, right here at Runway Incubator, I'm meeting Kristy Kim, co-founder and CEO of DearMissJ, an e-commerce store that sells in-house manufactured and designed jewelry. In order to start her own business, Kristy had to quit her convenient job at a VC fund. Also, because she's a female founder of a jewelry startup, she struggled a lot in looking for her technical co-founders. Hello, Kristy. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, nice to meet you.
DearMissJ is an e-commerce store, and you are actually selling also in about 40 other retail stores, right?
Oh, yeah. So we are selling online and doing a wholesale business. So in the US, we have 40 to 50 wholesale partners.
And who produces and designs the jewelry?
So our team members are all based in San Francisco, but my mom, who was the very first designer at DearMissJ, she is based in Seoul, South Korea. So the final work is, most of it is done in South Korea.
So it started all from your mom?
When I was in finance, so my very first job out of college was in investment banking. So I traveled a lot for work. So whenever I went to Korea or China for work, I would visit my parents. And then she gave me so many free stuff, right? Outfit and jewelry. So I brought some pieces back to San Francisco. First, it was just for fun. I gave it for free. And
wow.
Yeah, beginning, she had a lot of influence on me.
Where does the DearMissJ actually name come from?
My mom's last name is J, and jewelry is also start with J. And so when I first thought about starting a jewelry brand, DearMissJ, I thought that, okay, I don't want to be a jewelry brand that kind of it's appealing to women and saying, oh, it's gonna make you look cute or pretty or sexy. That was not the brand that I wanted to build. So I was thinking, oh, I want to build a brand that's targeting people like me who are working, mostly career women, and want to look polished. It's not about looking
polished.
Yeah, it's not about looking too glamorous or sexy or like that. It's more oh, you can wear it at work, and also you can wear it when you go out with your friends. So that's why I came up with the name DearMissJ. We design many pearl pieces. So
this is pearls, what you're having on you, right?
Yeah.
And what I'm having here.
Yeah. So it's handmade with freshwater pearls. So there are different types of pearl, and in the US, if you go to Banana Republic or J. Crew, you would see pearl necklace $150 or $200, but they are actually not real pearls. They're plastic pearls. But most of people don't know much about jewelry, don't really know the difference.
But do they say that this is plastic pearls, or do they kind of not admit this too much?
So they just say, oh, fashion pearl jewelry, pearl necklace, but it doesn't really show what it's made of, right? Okay. So for me, when I was in investment banking, I would shop at these stores, business casual, outfit stores, and then I go there and I'm like, how come just plastic fake pearl necklace can cost?
Could you tell just by looking at it?
Yeah, $150 and $200. Because my mom is a designer, I went to some of the pearl auctions. So now I'm pretty good at telling whether it's a plastic or not, or whether it's really high quality ones. So I can offer 10 times or 100 times better quality items with a similar price point, between $100 and $200. So that's why I thought that, oh, maybe focusing on pearl items would be a really good start for us, because I already have connections in the industry that I can source pearls, good quality pearls with really a good price.
How about educating the market? Did you find that people cannot really, because they cannot really tell the difference, do they really appreciate your jewelry, or is it rather hard to tell them this is really worth much more?
That's a really good question, because people in their 20s, for example, still in school and don't know much about fine jewelry, they will come to our site and then oh, this is expensive. How come this necklace is $200 or something like that? And so in the beginning, yeah, it's tough because we have to let them know that oh, we only use like real pearls, genuine like freshwater pearls or genuine South Sea pearls. We only use a high quality item. So they have to know that. So that's why now we are really, really focused on building a good brand and good brand image. So for example, when you get something from Tiffany, you are not worried that this is fake, right? You trust that Tiffany only like produce good quality items. So for us as a startup, it's really tough, right? Because we want our customers to spend money and then feel like kind of really confident that this is really good stuff. I don't have to worry that I'm overcharged, right? So building that trust, it's tough, but like we are working hard on building a brand, so make them feel comfortable.
But can we talk a little more in detail? I want to ask you, how are you actually building this trust? What are you doing? Like totally specific things. Like, is this your messaging on your website? Is this any extra things that you are adding to the package that you're selling, or is it anything else?
Yeah. So when we first started, we obviously we described on the website, right, about us page. Yeah. But actually, not many people really go and read the details.
That's why I'm asking,
right? Yes. So I thought that, okay, what would be the best way? And then we started doing some pop-up events. So offline events, like we would invite our friends or our clients to come and actually see the item. So when they see it, like they can tell. And then when our team members interact with them, we like say like what are their materials and where they're from. So we educate them. We also decide to make a certificate. So whenever someone orders something from DearMissJ, when we ship the item, we put the certificate in it. If you buy this and then find out like something goes wrong, or you find out that this is not real, you can just like return it, right? So we are like trying to make them like totally confident that this is like good quality item.
Right now you're selling it, across America and on your online store, and I want to talk to you about how you got to this point for sure. Yeah. But before we dig deep into that, I want to go back to the previous years and even a little more earlier on. So you moved to America when you were 11 years old.
So when I first came here when I was 11, but my parents, they both were working in Korea, and my dad had a business that required him a lot of traveling. So he traveled a lot in like China and like Southeast Asia. So they couldn't like relocate to the US. So first we came as a family to visit our extended family, and then later I stayed with my extended family here in the US. They had like a big farm and like 3 cats and like cows and like horses. So I was really happy that I could like play outside, because in Korea it's like different environment that very like strict, and then even at 11 you feel a lot of pressure that you have to study really hard. So yeah, at the beginning I think enjoyed it and then embraced like everything. My very first job out of college was at a boutique investment bank here in Financial District, San Francisco. After like finishing school, I moved here and I started working like long hours.
Right?
Yeah.
I can imagine. But how did you end up at a VC fund?
Oh, after banking. So after investment banking, I thought about what I wanted to do, and so when I was in banking, because it was a small like boutique firm, I got to meet my clients directly. For example, if you're at like Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley, as an analyst, like out of college, it might be difficult for you to actually meet your clients or talk to them, be in the meeting. It's like pretty rare. But because I was at a relatively small like firm, so I actually met like most of my clients who are there like in 40s and 50s, like running the company and trying to sell the company. So I saw I learned a lot just interacting with them. I saw how they started their business and how they got to the point that they're thinking about selling the business, because I covered M&A, merger and acquisition. So I thought that, maybe I can be someone like them. I can someday start a company or be in the side that helping other people start the company. So I thought that I want to join a VC fund. But before joining to the BC, I worked at mobile gaming company. But the company was incubated at a VC firm in Sandy Road, Menlo Park. So I worked there and I saw how investors helping the portfolio companies and how they work together. It's like a win-win situation, right? So, and after that, I joined a fund in San Francisco. But I was there very shortly because while I was there, I felt like, oh, I'm ready to start my own company. So I left, yeah.
So that's where you got the inspiration to start your own company, because you saw other people doing this and you were actually helping them, assisting them in the process of selling their companies, right?
Yeah.
Or acquisition, and you thought that you want to do this as well. And did you have any idea at that moment that your business may be connected to jewelry?
Maybe connected to jewelry. I thought about different ideas, but eventually I realized that I should do something that I can do better than other people. Something that I have unfair advantage, right? So that's why I thought that I can do something in fashion and jewelry. That's how I got started.
Okay, so you decided to go for your own store, and what were your next steps? Where did you think that you need to start, and what did you do at that point?
So first of all, I had to find technical co-founders because I was political science and business major, so I never took any computer science classes.
Okay, you mentioned that you started with a website. So for that website already you needed a co-founder, or could you set up the website yourself with some templates maybe? How did it look like?
So when I was in banking, around the Christmas time, I hired someone in India and paid him $5,000 and built a website. But that was when I was still working in my job in finance. It was more side gig to try out to see how it's going to be like to start DearMissJ full time. So I was just playing with the idea. So I first started with outsourcing the website and then building it. And I realized that this is not what I want. It was really terrible because even though I guess he's a good developer, he didn't really understand the aesthetic, right? How the e-commerce website should look. So it didn't go well.
Did you end up paying that person those $5,000?
Yeah, I had to pay.
Right?
That was a contract, yeah.
I've been there too. We hired some developers to build our app, and that was also outsourcing, and that was just dragging in time. And we also ended up paying them not full, but it was also something that probably most of us have to go through.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you knew that you need co-founders. Did you feel like one would be enough? How did you approach this?
So I thought that I need at least one developer that I can trust. So I started talking to developers in San Francisco. At that time, I thought that building an e-commerce site, I didn't really think that male developers would be interested in joining as a co-founder. So I was willing to pay them and willing to
just
find a good one, and then pay them. But they're going to be local, so we communicate very well. I convinced my old friends who went to Berkeley and studied computer science to join the team, and then he asked his old graduate schools to help him too. So ended up having 4 people in our co-founding team.
Yeah, but that lasted a long time, right?
Looking
for them. And in one of the articles I read that you said, I will quote this, I dated each one very carefully and married all of them. It just so happened that way, and it has been absolutely amazing. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by dating your co-founders?
So investors usually say when they invest, they decide to invest in a company, they think it as a marriage, right? So I thought about as a non-technical co-founder founder to finding a co-founder member, whether it's good or bad, you are stuck together, right? And then you will work really, really, really hard to make it work, right? So if you have a contractor, if things don't work out well, you can pay him, or something goes well, something is not going well, he can just call it a quit and not feeling bad about it. But when you are like connected as co-founder relationships, like marriage. Like you will feel really guilty about even quitting it, and then you will do everything to make sure that that's not going to happen.
Since it looks like you made the right choices with your founders, and I know it took you a while to really partner with the best people for you, what would be your one advice for other founders that are not technical and they are looking for technical co-founders?
Yeah. My very first advice would be patient. So it took me almost like 2 years, even though like from the very moment that I quit my job and then starting DearMissJ, it was like only 2 months or 3 months. But even when I was in investment banking, had my full-time job, I was always going to like start up like events or developer meetings and talk to developers, not because like, oh, someday they're going to be my co-founder. It's more like, oh, I want to understand like what they do and then what they're interested in, right? And then talking to them and getting to know them. And when I was 100% ready to commit to DearMissJ, it was easy for me to reach out to developers and ask their advice and then ask them to introduce me to their friends who are interested in e-commerce. So people who are starting their companies right now and trying to find co-founders, if you are too desperate, you might end up with the wrong person. So be patient and then really take some time to get to know them before you guys like decide to be co-founders.
Yeah, and I feel like also what's also important is to when you start talking about the business and agreeing on things, it's also good to in advance plan some next talks about how it's all going, what do we want to change, right? What's working, what's not working, so that this next talk is not awkward. Or it's less awkward. Because if you jump into this and you'll promise to yourselves, okay, we're going to do this business, it's going to be so successful and amazing, and we have those great ideas, and like you marry each other right away.
Yeah.
Then like talking about this after 2 or 3 months, you know what, but maybe not really, it's harder.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why you have to be really realistic and then just set like small goals and kind of like be flexible, and then don't say something that you cannot deliver.
Of course,
yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier on, you mentioned that you started with a little different business model than right now. Something that was connected with like renting your jewelry or maybe trying it on. How did it work in practice, and why did you think that this was not the best choice?
Yeah, so the reason why I wanted to do free home try-on service is, first, I was really confident that DearMissJ items are really good and good quality. So when people see it, they will buy it. I was confident about that. And second part, because jewelry pieces, they are like so tiny and then like easy to ship. I thought that our cost is not that heavy even though we offer free shipping both ways, right? But eventually, I had to kill it because it was good when you have small number of customers, but when we are growing fast, it was really hard to maintain because it took a lot of our time and energy.
So you were letting them keep this for free for a couple days, for like a week.
Yeah.
And then they would return if they wanted, or keep it and you already had their credit card, so you would charge them, right?
Yeah. So you will make a decision whether you want to keep it or not. If you don't like it, you have to return it like within certain days, and then we see what you returned and what you kept, and we charge you.
So of course you had so many clients. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But can you imagine to how many parties they went during that week?
Oh, so
right?
Yeah, that's a good point. So I was really worried that people will like take advantage of this service and wear it at the parties and return it next day. So I put a really like big like plastic tag that you cannot detach it unless you cut the tag. So that part, I think we were safe. Yeah.
Kristy, what are your plans for DearMissJ in the near future? Do you want to be present in more retail stores or just scaling your website? How do you see it?
I want to do both, of course. But first of all, I want to sell at bigger retailers. So now we are mainly sell at like boutique designer stores or jewelry stores. But next step, I want to work with like large retailers like Macy's or Notre Dame to see if they want to carry DearMissJ pieces. Yeah.
I could see that happening, you know. They would really look great over there on the display, for sure. Kristy, it was so great to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining me. And for those of our viewers and listeners who want to check out the jewelry and see what you're producing, where should they go?
Oh, so they can check out our Instagram, shop DearMissJ, or they can check our website, DearMissJ.com.
Kristy, thank you so much for joining me today on the show.
Yeah, thanks.